Okay, I'm going to make an announcement before we get started. We are starting a little early today. So when I get to your name, if you have hired an attorney or you expect an attorney to be present, please let me know and I'll just hold for your attorney to make his or her presence known. So this is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. My name is Brad Gardner, and I'm a judge in this court. I'm here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you, to advise you of certain rights, to set bail on those offenses that I'm authorized to set bail, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and say nothing. But should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you. So please don't discuss the facts of your case. During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights: to the presumption of innocence, to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors, to a speedy and public trial by jury, to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you, to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf, to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense, and to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release from jail. These bonds may be posted by cash, commercial, or property. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places. You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you are in jail. If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you can remain in jail until your trial. You could also receive additional felony charges. It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person will not be allowed to post your bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you will be informed of that date. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time. Where the bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you. The standard at this stage is very low. A judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that the crime occurred. Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing. However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived. You will receive notice at the address you give of your next court date. Lastly, I need everyone to raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm any statements you make during this proceeding shall be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? Okay. All right. Let's begin on the lady side with Miss Carroll, Carroll. Miss Carroll, ma'am, you're charged with one count of driving under the influence of alcohol. This is a misdemeanor offense. Bond is going to be set at $5,000. You're also charged with one count of an open container violation. Bond is going to be set at $500. You're charged with one count of obstructing a highway. Bond is going to be set at $500. One count of driving a vehicle with no insurance. Bond is going to be set at $1,000. And one count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Bond is going to be set at $1,500. These are all misdemeanor offenses. So your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for November 8th at 8:30 in the morning. This most likely will be by Zoom. But as I stated earlier, if you bond out that date will get waived and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next is Ms. Coleman, Coleman. Ms. Coleman, ma'am. This is an interesting case. You don't have a criminal history except for this,
No, sir.
but this is a very serious charge, the aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I'm going to set a bond for this offense, but I'm going to set that bond at $30,000. The hit and run is a misdemeanor offense. I'm going to set the bond at $5,000. And criminal damage to property in the second degree is being charged as a misdemeanor also. And I'm going to set the bond at $5,000. So that's going to be a total bond of $40,000. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from an Adam Bird. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for November 7th at 8:30 in the morning. That's going to be by Zoom. And as I stated earlier, once you bond out, this offense will get waived over to the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you'll receive a new court date from them. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back. Next is Miss Hawkins, Hawkins. Miss Hawkins, ma'am, you're charged with one count of arson in the third degree. This is a felony offense. I'm going to set the bond at $5,000. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for November 7th at 8:30 in the morning. That'll be by Zoom. Once you bond out, that date will get waived over to the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you'll start getting court dates from there. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, please.
You do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back. Miss Pitt, P-I-T-T. Miss Pitt, ma'am, you're charged with one count of family violence battery. Bond is going to be set at $5,000. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from a Joseph Onochi. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is a misdemeanor offense, so you're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for November 8th at 8:30 in the morning. That'll be by Zoom, but as I've stated to the other young ladies, if you bond out, this case will get waived over to the state court of Clayton County, and you'll start getting notices from whatever judge the case is assigned to. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Yes.
Miss Wallace. Miss Wallace, ma'am, you're charged with one count of theft by shoplifting as a misdemeanor. Bond is going to be set at $2,000. You're also charged with one count of terroristic threats or acts. That's a felony offense. And because I've looked at your criminal history, I'm going to deny bond at this time for that offense. You're going to have a $2,000 bond set for the public indecency and indecent exposure charge. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for November 7th at 8:30 in the morning. That'll be by Zoom. And you're going to also have a bond hearing set for November 11th, also at 8:30 in the morning. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back. Okay, Ms. Tolles, you have impeccable timing.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let's bring up Mr. Cano, Cano. Oh, wait, I'm misspelling his name. I'm sorry, sir.
Oh,
Cardona, Cardona.
yes, sir. Donna.
Okay, Mr. Cardona, sir, can you hear and understand the interpreter?
Buenos días, señor Cardona. ¿Puede usted oír y entender a la intérprete?
Buenos días.
Good morning.
Mr. Cardona, sir, you're charged with 3 misdemeanor offenses.
Señor Cardona, a usted se le imputa 3 infracciones menores.
One is laying drag. Bond is going to be set at $500 for that.
La primera es quemar llantas. La fianza se impone a $500 para esa infracción.
The second charge is driving too fast for conditions. Bond is also going to be set at $500.
La segunda infracción es manejar muy rápido para las condiciones de tránsito. La fianza se impone a $500 también para esa infracción.
And finally, you're charged with driving a vehicle on a suspended license. Bond is going to be set at $1,500.
Y por último, se le impone la infracción, se le imputa la infracción, perdón, de manejar con la licencia suspendida y la fianza se le impone a $1,000 para esa infracción.
Mr. Cardona, there are some things I need to let you know, okay?
Señor Cardona, hay algunas cosas que le tengo que avisar. ¿Está bien?
Sí.
The
Yes.
purpose of this proceeding is not to have a trial of your case or to take a guilty plea in your case.
El propósito de esta diligencia judicial no es para aceptar una declaración ante las infracciones, tampoco para llevar a cabo su juicio.
The purpose of this hearing is for me to tell you what you've been charged with and to set bond.
El propósito de esta audiencia es para que yo le informe de qué se le acusa y cuánto es la fianza que se le impone.
To provide you with future court dates
También para informarle de las audiencias futuras
and to see if you require the assistance of an attorney.
y también para determinar si usted requiere el asesoramiento de un abogado.
You have the right to have an attorney represent you if you can't, or have an attorney appointed to represent you if you cannot afford one.
Tiene derecho a que se le nombre un abogado si no tiene los medios para contratar uno.
You also have the right to hire your own attorney or to represent yourself.
También tiene derecho a contratar a su propio abogado o de seguir en representación propia.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Quisiera que yo determine si usted cumple los requisitos para un abogado de oficio, señor.
Sí.
Yes.
You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
Efectivamente, usted sí cumple los criterios para un abogado, así que le voy a nombrar uno.
Your next court date will be set for November 8th at 8:30 in the morning.
Su próxima audiencia se programa para el día 8 de noviembre a las 8:30 de la mañana.
However, that date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll receive new court dates in the mail.
Sin embargo, esta audiencia quedará renunciada una vez que usted deposita fianza y sale, y luego le mandará a notificar por correo de la próxima cita judicial.
Before I let you go, I have to advise you of certain rights that you have during this and all other proceedings.
Antes de que usted se retire, tengo que informarle de los derechos que le corresponden durante esta diligencia y cualquier diligencia judicial ulterior.
You have the right to the presumption of innocence.
Tiene derecho a ser presunto inocente.
You have the right to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors.
Tiene derecho a que se le emita una acusación formal por el gran jurado cuando se trata de delitos graves o que proceden en su contra con una acusación general cuando se trata de delitos menores.
You have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury.
Tiene derecho a un juicio público y sin demora ante un jurado.
You have the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you.
Tiene derecho a ver, a escuchar y a interrogar los testigos convocados a declarar en su contra.
You have the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf.
Tiene derecho de obligar que se presenten testigos para que declaren a su favor.
You have the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense.
Tiene derecho a dar testimonio en representación propia y presentar pruebas para su defensa.
Pero
Do you
puedo hablar.
Do you have any
May I say
questions?
something, Your Honor?
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second.
Sí, señor, pero permítame, por favor, un momento.
Sí.
I don't want you to talk about the facts of your case, okay?
No quiero que me hable sobre los hechos de su caso. ¿Entiende?
So go ahead, ask your question.
Entonces, adelante. ¿Cuál es su pregunta, señor?
No, yo sí me quiero declarar culpable, no inocente, culpable. Sí, que acepto que lo...
No, I'd like to plead guilty, not guilty. I do accept that.
Mr. Cardona, I've appointed a lawyer to represent you. It would be wise to speak to that lawyer before you make any decisions about what you want to do with your case.
Señor Cardona, ya nombré un abogado para representarlo. Sería prudente consultar con él antes de tomar una decisión en su caso.
This process is being recorded, and you may put your attorney in a position where you otherwise had a defense, but you've made an admission of guilt.
Este proceso ahora se está grabando y tal vez usted está poniendo a su abogado en una posición donde hubiera tenido una defensa, pero acaba de ofrecer una admisión de culpabilidad.
Okay, any other questions that are not related to your guilt or innocence?
¿Alguna otra pregunta que no tiene que ver, señor, con su culpabilidad o inocencia?
Si puedo
No.
pagar el bono, ¿cómo?
May I pay the bond? How?
You can go through a bonding company.
¿Puede tramitar su fianza, señor, a través de una compañía de fianzas?
You would pay a fee to the bonding company, which is a percentage of your bond.
Con eso pagaría una tarifa a la compañía de fianzas, que sería un porcentaje de la fianza total.
They will keep that fee and not return it to you.
La compañía se queda con la tarifa pagada y no se le devuelve esa cantidad.
You can pay the entire amount of the bond to the sheriff's department.
La otra manera, puede usted pagar el total de la fianza a la comisaría del sheriff.
They will hold that money and then return it to you when your case is over.
Con esa opción, ellos guardan el dinero y luego se lo devuelven una vez que su caso haya terminado.
If you own property within the county that has a value of at least 3 times the bond amount, you can put that property up for your bond.
También, si usted es propietario de un inmueble con un valor adquirido de por lo menos 3 veces lo que es el valor de la fianza, puede poner la propiedad como la garantía de su fianza también.
The sheriff's department will place a lien on that property and then remove the lien when your case is over.
La comisaría del sheriff entonces le impone un gravamen en la propiedad y se lo quita una vez que el caso se concluye.
Any other questions, sir?
¿Alguna pregunta más, señor?
¿Ya hoy podría salir ya de aquí de la cárcel?
And would I be able to get out of jail today?
Yes, sir, but as long as you and I are talking here, is prolonging your time in jail.
Sí, señor, pero mientras más platicamos acá, más tiempo se queda aquí en la cárcel.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, free to go back, sir.
Bueno, señores, está libre para retirarse. Gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Tolles. You can go back, sir.
Ya se puede retirar, señor. Gracias.
Gracias.
Judge, what was the amounts for Mr. Condon? I had a technical difficulty.
Okay. $500 for laying drag, $500 too fast for conditions, $1,500 for driving on a suspended license.
Thank you.
So, Your Honor, and if in that case, the interpreter made an error. The interpreter thought you said $1,000. It was $1,500. May he be brought back to so that I may
Yes,
correct that?
can we bring Mr. Cardona back?
I apologize.
Nope, no problem. Mr. Cardona, we're bringing you back because there may have been confusion in the interpretation for the driving on a suspended license charge.
Señor Cardona, lo hice regresar porque tal vez hubo una confusión sobre la fianza por la infracción de manejar con la licencia suspendida.
Oh,
The bond for that charge is $1,500.
La fianza para esa infracción es $1,500.
Okay?
Okay.
All right, sir, you're free to go back.
Muy bien, señor. Ya se puede retirar. Gracias.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Tolles. You may be excused. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great one.
You too. Okay, let's bring up Mr. Belcher. Mr. Belcher, sir, you're charged with one count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. This is a misdemeanor offense. Bond is set by schedule, which means it's automatically set at $1,500. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing dates. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for November 8th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Mr. Brimmer or Brimer, B-R-I-M-E-R?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir, you're charged with one count of family violence battery. This is a misdemeanor offense. Bond is going to be set at $5,000. You're also charged with one count of cruelty to children in the third degree. Bond is going to be set at $3,000. That's also a misdemeanor offense. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from a Precious Dixon. Do you understand that, sir?
Sir.
And I see that you refuse to fill out the form, so you're going to hire your own lawyer?
I'm just bond out.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
sir. Do you have any questions for me?
That'll be all.
Okay, you're free to go back, sir.
Thank you.
So we just did Mr. Cardona. Mr. Dudley, D-U-D-L-E-Y. Give me 1 second, sir. Okay, Mr. Dudley, you're charged with one count of improper lane change. Bond is going to be set at $500. You're also charged with one count of DUI alcohol less safe. Bond is going to be set at $5,000. These are both misdemeanors, so your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for November 8th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. It looks like you're going to hire your own lawyer. Is that correct?
No, I just bond out.
Okay. All right. You have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Dudley. Mr. Green.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Green, sir, you're charged with 3 misdemeanor offenses, and bond is going to be set on all of them. For the driving on a suspended license, bond is going to be set at $1,500. For the possession of marijuana less than an ounce, bond is going to be set at $1,500. $500. And for failing to yield the right of way while turning left, bond is going to be set at $500. There's going to be a preliminary hearing date set for November 8th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see, well, I'm assuming you're gonna just bond out, or how?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Mr. Hill. Mr. Hill, sir, you're charged with one count of speeding 15 to 24 miles over the speed limit. Bond is going to be set at $1,000. You're charged with one count of failing to yield to an emergency vehicle. Bond is set at $500. And you're charged with one count of littering on the highway. Bond is going to be set at $500. And you're charged with possession with the attempt to distribute a controlled substance, and that's a felony offense. I'm going to deny bond on that offense right now because of your arrest this June in Fulton County. So I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for November 7th at 8:30 in the morning. I'm going to also set a bond hearing date for November 11th at 8:30 in the morning. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to find that you qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Mr. Marshall.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Marshall, sir. You're charged with 3 misdemeanor offenses, and I'm setting bond on all of these offenses.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
I said, yes, sir.
The first charge is family violence battery. I'm setting bond at $5,000. The second charge is possession of marijuana less than an ounce. I'm setting the bond at $1,500. And finally, use or possession of drug-related objects, setting the bond at $1,500. I'm placing a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from a Kenneth Washington and a Brittany Church. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for November 8th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify? Well, it looks like you make a little bit too much to
Well,
qualify.
I actually haven't. I only worked the job a couple of days, but they know my situation, so I do supposed to go back when I get out. So I don't. It's a 50-50 chance if I still got the job to make the amount that I put on that paper.
Okay. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you and make a different determination later. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir. Again, you said the bond was $5,000 for the family violence. $5,000 is $1,050 for the possession of drug paraphernalia or whatever, and then another $1,050 for the marijuana less than an ounce.
That's $1,500. You have a total bond of $8,000.
Am I putting this on the 2nd November?
The 8th of November.
All right, thank you.
But if you bond out, that date is going to get waived, and you'll get a new court date in the mail.
Yes, sir.
All right, you're free to go back, Mr. Marshall. Mr. Nettles? Mr. Nettles, sir, you're charged with one count of child abandonment. This is a misdemeanor offense. Bond is going to be set at $1,500. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for November 8th at 8:30 in the morning. But that date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to find that you qualify. Mr. Nettles, I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you're free to go back, sir. Mr. Reynolds.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Reynolds, sir, you're charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault and 1 count of false imprisonment. These are all felony offenses. I'm going to deny bond on each of these offenses. I'm going to place a stay away provision on this bond and stay away from a Marlena Beverly. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for November 7th at 8:30 in the morning. That will most likely be by Zoom. I'm going to also set a bond hearing date for November 11th at 8:30 in the morning, also by Zoom. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, please.
You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Yes, I know we can't get too much into the process and everything right now, but would you be aware of, I guess, the timeline on which I would be able to invoke my right to a speedy trial with these type of charges?
You can file a speedy before the indictment, but it doesn't really start to run until you have been indicted.
Okay, okay.
There's a constitutional speedy and a statutory speedy.
Okay, so I got one more question. As far as the investigation that has been underway for the incident, like nobody has really examined me as far as the involvement, possible involvement in the whole matter. I just want to know if that would be a part of anything in between the time to the next court date. Because I'm just trying to get everything as quickly handled as possible.
That is a question that you should, a discussion that you should have with your lawyer, because your lawyer will be in the best position to know how to proceed.
Okay.
And whether you should make a statement or not.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, sir, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Mr. Rockmore. Good morning, Mr. Rockmore. Sir, you're charged with 1 count of simple battery. Bond is going to be set at $4,000. This is a misdemeanor offense. I'm going to place a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from a Jaquisha Ansa, A-N-S-A-H. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir. It's gonna be until I get my trial over with. That's how long I can't see her.
Honestly, sir, I don't know. If there's any decision to loosen this condition, it generally comes either by a motion of your lawyer or through a consent agreement. Hold on, sir, please. Sir, I promise you do not have to feel rushed.
Yes,
You're
sir.
gonna get to say whatever you need to say. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So it'll come from the Solicitor General's office, either through a consent to reduce this, or they may make a determination that they don't believe that you should be around, Ms. Ansa. Okay, would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, sir.
Okay, your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for November 8th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you have any other questions for me?
Yeah, I just got one.
Yes, sir.
So as you were saying, as with my lawyer, so I may need to get appointed lawyer because my baby due next month. So if I can't see her, I mean I can't be in the room to see my baby be born.
That'll be it. Yes.
Yes, sir.
And so it's just so you know, it's a two-way street. It's not because you want it to change, it gets changed. The alleged victim has a role to play in that also. And believe it or not, that's just not the end of the story, because there are plenty of people that have been harmed when they said, hey, I want this person back in my life. And then another fight happens and someone gets stabbed, something happens. Okay. So you're free to go back, Mr. Rockmore.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Simpson. Mr. Simpson, sir, you're charged with simple battery also. This is a misdemeanor offense. Bond is going to be set at $4,000. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from a Jeffrey Davis. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for November 8th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I need one.
Sir, you can say yes or no. And the reason I say it like that is because you have 3 constitutional rights in this regard: the right to have a lawyer, the right to represent yourself, and the right to hire your own lawyer. So the choice is yours. Mr. Simpson,
I would like a lawyer.
you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.